The Daily Politics series of election debates with the economy debate in now on BBC Two. For then, our first session of afternoon snooker. We're back at the Crucible with Hazel Irvine.
Hello again. At the start of this fifth day of the Betfred World Championship, there were 5 remaining places to be filled in the second round. And you can now make that 4, because if you were watching our 10 o'clock transmission this morning, you will have seen Ronnie O'Sullivan striding over the line against first-timer Craig Steadman in a rather more, dare I say it, sure-footed way than he did yesterday. Yes, Ronnie began with a 5 frames advantage at 7-2 up, and he quickly reeled off 3 more, although Craig Steadman did nick one along the way. Ronnie seemed a little distracted and his play was at times a bit disjointed. His high break this morning, 54, but he would run out a 10-3 winner over the 32-year-old Bolton man, who was certainly not overawed on his debut. He knows he had many more chances than perhaps the scoreline suggests. But Rocket Ronnie blasts into round 2.
No one's got any divine right to do well here or win it. I think it's as open as any tournament is, you know, and so no one's guaranteed to do well or get their hands on this trophy. So all you can do is just kind of go through the process, if you like, of, you know, just trying to get through each match, I mean, each ball at a time, really. I'm not really good at picking shoes out, so I kind of tried to delay it as long as I could. And so when I do go and buy a pair, I go and buy the wrong pair. They didn't feel right, and so I'm back to the old crushers, you know, that I've had for about 10, 12 years. So these have got to last me to the end of my career, otherwise I'm bang in trouble. But if there's anyone got any fashion sense and wants to look at these shoes and kind of pick me out a pair, I'll be ever so grateful, because I don't think these have got too long in them. So any tweets, any whatever you can get sending over, I'd be grateful for a nice pair of comfy but decent looking shoes. I don't want to be wearing them old things that Mike Ganley give me.
Well, that brings to an end a first-round match which was dominated yesterday by some humorous headlines about Ronnie and his troublesome shoes. He'd been fiddling with them before discarding them completely in the 6th frame yesterday, making a break of 59 before asking members of the crowd if anyone had a pair of size 8s they could lend him. Ronnie was told that he was in breach of the dress code by tournament director Mike Ganley. He disappeared for a few minutes and later emerged wearing Mike's shoes for the rest of the session. But what became of those shiny shoes? Well, after the match, Ronnie made a beeline for one of snooker's young supporters, Aaron Crosby from Lincolnshire. He spent a very good bit of time in his company and then gave Aaron his shoes. And there he is with them on, proud as punch at home in Lincolnshire. I doubt they will be coming off for a while too. Fantastic stuff from Ronnie. So, Ronnie is now sitting pretty in round 2, and if you would like to perhaps tweet him and show him a pair of shoes that might suit him for the rest of the championship, then please feel free to do so. It's like a kind of snooker Cinderella. You can send them via Twitter at hashtag BBC Snooker, hashtag BBC Snooker, or at BBC Snooker, our hashtag Rocket Shoes. Shall we show you how all of that leaves the draw? Defending champion Mark Selby came through a thriller on Saturday night, and he'll face Scottish first-timer Auntie McGill, who came through a thriller on Sunday night. Joe Perry and Zhang got underway this morning. That's coming up next. Whilst the waiting is over for Masters champ Shaun Murphy and Finland's Robin Hull today. World number 5 Barry Hawkins, mightily relieved to come through against Matt Selt, now takes on Mark Allen, who won 9 frames on the spin to sail past Ryan Day. Ali Carter barged past an out-of-sorts Alan McManus and now earns the right to take on 2010 champion Neil Robertson. Ding Junhui turned his match around from 4-0 down to beat Mark Davis and now prepares for a cracking tie with a fully focused 4-time champion John Higgins. Hong Kong's Marco Fu playing a waiting game right now. He'll play the much-fancied juddernaut Judd Trump or Grimsby first-timer Stuart Carrington, who get going tonight. Former champ Graham Dott was the first of this year's qualifiers to go through, and he'll be a tough proposition for Stuart Bingham, as he would for anyone. And tricky times for twice former champ Mark Williams, 4 frames behind to Matthew Stevens. Winner this afternoon will next meet the Rocket.
So it's day 5 here at the Crucible Theatre. And Stephen, who's impressed you so far?
Neil Robertson was excellent. He basically brushed his opponent aside. He was strutting around the table, looked full of confidence. Selby's performance was impressive in a different way. Obviously, he came through 10-9, but showed great character. And John Higgins looked excellent at times.
Now, Selby's come through 10-9. He did the same thing last year when he won it against Michael White, making it hard for himself doing that.
Yeah, but when you come through a tough match, your second round you tend to play very, very well, so I expect a great performance in the second round from him.
Not really been any shocks, has there? I mean, Maguire got a tough draw, Walden got a tough draw.
Yeah, they both had tough draws. Maguire obviously was disappointed. That's 3 years in a row he's gone out in the first round. But yeah, I think those two probably had the toughest draws of the round.
And what did you make of Ronnie's performance? You were in the commentary box yesterday for that one.
Yeah, he didn't have to play well, let's be honest. I think he always knew he was going to win that match. At times his positional play was a bit ragged for his high sort of expectations, but he looked impressive enough.
Now, we'll have to mention it, you making so many maximums over the career. What was Ding Junhui doing?
Incredible for a top player not to know he's on a maximum, but for me it's a good sign because he was behind in the match, he was struggling, and it means he was really concentrating on just getting the frame one and getting back into the match.
OK, Stephen, well, it was very bizarre yesterday, a little bit surreal actually, Hazel.
Was indeed, yes, John. I wonder what we'll get this afternoon. But the first action from this afternoon's play will be between the world number 9, Joe Perry, and the lowest ranked qualifier to get here this time, Zhang Anda, the world number 98 from China. They actually got going this morning at 10 o'clock. And Joe, at the age of 40, comes here to the Crucible in perhaps the greatest form of his career, having finally, and to universal delight, claimed a first major title, the Players' Championship in Thailand last month, after fully 23 years as a pro. Well, Joe's opponent, 23-year-old Zhang Anda, nicknamed Mighty Mouse, almost caused a sensation here on his debut 5 years ago when he pushed Stephen Hendry to the brink in this opening round. In fact, he led 9-7, only for Stephen to win the next 3. He had no nerves, Stephen said then. And let's find out if there were any today. Well, there were evidently some today, because when they started out at 10 o'clock, very quickly, Joe Perry was in the ascendancy, and he's raced to a 5-0 lead with breaks of 56, 94 and 45 on the way. So what can this youngster do to try and stop the rot? We're going to join them in frame 6, and it is Joe at the table.
Call the police, he nearly got the cue ball outside the baulk line there. It's hard as nails, Joe, in the safety department.
Wow.
Because of his good safety, forced an error. Now, where's the pot coming from? There's a couple of long reds he can play, but both pink and black in a difficult position. So if he plays the pot, he's going to have to try and find somehow a path back to the blue or baulk colour. I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe play a safety shot here rather than a pot. As you can see, he's lining up for the one that's nearest the pocket on the right-hand side there, the one directly below the pink. The only problem is he's got to avoid the kiss on the red that's to the right of the pink on the way back. So if he pots it, got to avoid that kiss on the red just to the right of the pink there on the way back. Now has he missed the kiss? Just.
One.
Six.
That was a good pot. He's come out into open play again. He can avoid that kiss on that red that he avoided the first time quite easily this time. And now that, even though he looks like he's gone too far on the blue, that's in his favour, because now he can play the kiss into the reds either side of the black. Ideally, I mean, kissing the black's not a bad thing. As long as he moves one of those two reds if he decides to play that shot. Needs to move one of the reds, and he hasn't. What he did actually, played the joint there, the black and the red at the same time. We'll show you this again. And what he's trying to do is he's hit the red and the black at the same time and just missed the red by a fraction. Nice reaction.
You're now 5-0 up and didn't get a good kiss on the red, and you're not happy. What can you say? Well, I have to hit this well to get down to the reds. Oh, that's no good. May going off. Looked a certainty to going off, then it just pulled up. Last minute. He's relentless, this guy, I tell you, with his safety. Absolutely relentless. Top draw stuff. And take it from me, when you're 5-0 down, everything hurts, but that'll hurt more.
No problem hitting a red, but how does he get it safe? I mean, Stevie Wonder could hit a red here if he hits it hard enough, but, you know, it's very, very difficult to find a path to get safe when hitting a red. He's looking at the one to the right of the pink. If he rests on that, I don't suppose he's too much on. So just miss the yellow in between brown and blue with a little bit of side. Rest on the one to the right of the pink. He's got the side. As long as he doesn't go around the back of it, he's okay. Well, that's amazing, isn't it?
Foul.
It's going to be called a miss, of course, because it was so easy to go off one cushion and career into the reds. That was so close to being good. At least he now knows the shot's on, so he played again.
Yeah.
Well, I was just looking at his average shot time, and it's 36 seconds, which is quite long, you know, by his standards. And you've got to take into account, I'm afraid, that he's been in so many awkward positions. And he's had to take quite a long time to decide what to do. Well done. I think he's going on in his corner, you can see that there, but it's going to be tough to get on the colour. He's striking down into the cue ball. He's hitting them well, isn't he? The secret of that type of shot that Joe Perry played, when he's got to raise his butt slightly to get down to the bottom of the cue ball, is to retain the plane of the delivery of the shot, because if you drop your arm down at all in the back, you're not going to get the backspin on. He played it exceptionally well there. He's going to play another good shot here, though. Think he'd make more than 30 here, will he?
Well, if he gets on the pink in the middle from this shot, if he just stuns him behind the pink, yes, he will get more than 30, but I don't know, it looks like he's playing for the blue.
7.
I presume he played round the back of the pink to put the pink into the black pocket, but not too sure whether the pink passes the brown. I can't tell from here. Certainly doesn't. Yeah, both brown and yellow in the way. Not even close to being potted, is it? They're 32 points in front. Strong favourite again to go further clear.
Blue ball. Joe Perry, 7.
Well, we can't see any reds on the left-hand side of the table, but I think you could play a defensive safety with the red that's nearest to the right pocket. Or you could just roll into the red by the pink there. Push that down the table slightly and snooker in behind the pink. That looks like the best shot. And he may be taking the pot on now. Oh, well, I've got to be honest, there was 2 safety shots then. Okay, they were not going to trap Joe Perry, but you've got to hold on sometimes in a safety bout and just wait for a better chance to play a better safety. That was risky, taking into consideration everything has gone by. Slight bit of desperation about that shot.
Six. 7. 12. 13.
So it's 45 points in front. Not quite there. It's like in between 3 shots.
17.
Both pink and black out of play. He does have an angle here to play the cannon into the red and black, but of course that's dangerous, so he'll probably play the gap to come round for the blue or yellow or brown. Just looking for the gap. The in-off's on here if he just doesn't get the gap quite right. So he's played the gap. Has he got the in-off?
Thank you.
No, played it nicely.
18.
We're getting ever close to going 6-0 in front now.
Well, that's not what he wanted. He was very close to perfect position there and bringing the black into play, but bridging over this red now is going to make things a little more difficult. Can't put any spin on. Now then the black possibly goes into the other corner, so it's okay.
Played a nice shot on the red to get onto it, but when he was queuing over the red on the previous shot, no, he played it nicely. I thought for 1 second he'd caught the black on the way through, but he didn't.
Thank you. 28.
Round of applause from the crowd because that was a frame ball. But barring snookers,
29.
Joe Perry will take a 6-0 lead.
Yes, he did, and 6-0 it remains. We're going to join them live very shortly. But, John, this is pretty much deja vu for Zhang Anda because you've been looking through the stats books for us, haven't you?
Oh, he's going to absolutely hate Joe Perry in the draw. He's played him twice before, 4-0 to Perry, both occasions, and here he is 6-0 down in this one. So how many frames is that? Went to score 14 frames. He's not won one yet.
Not taking one off him.
Not won one frame against him.
And that really has got to stick in the mind, isn't it, out there?
It's horrible, yeah, it's a horrible situation. I remember when I played Zhang Anda here, though, I scraped through 10-9, and he just said earlier he was nerveless. He just kept on dropping long balls in from the ball cushion. It was incredible.
Well, he's certainly under pressure here, and I wonder what he can do about it, because we've got Terry Griffiths and Willie Thorne doing their commentary duty for us. And how's this one going? I think Perry in the balls here, guys?
He certainly is, Hazel, and it's been the story of the match so far. You know, he's played the better safety, forced opening. Zhang's really struggled. His shot time is up to 36 seconds. He's all at sea out there, but there was a good bout of safety a little earlier on in this frame. We may in a moment be able to show you the shot that Joe got in for this break.
One really loud one.
It was absolutely beautiful, the shot he played.
18.
This was the red, tight on the cushion. In it goes, fabulous putt that, and now he's on 18 and counting. And the boys in the studio mentioned the 4-0s, 4-0 and now 6-0. So that's 14 frames without reply. And looks like this one's going away from him as well. It's a horrible place to play when you're not feeling good and not getting a run of the ball. We've all been there.
Yeah. The normal one, yeah?
This could go wrong. He's trying to get round the back of the black and red to play for the pink in the same pocket. He's played it hard enough to go for blue or bought colour, but he's got the line right.
19.
One good pot then, and good position as we get Joe Perry with a
21.
pink available now. It looks as if it could be 7-0 before long. It's been the pattern of things.
22.
Joe Perry's been very, very solid, I must say, in this match. Very few mistakes and not at his best scoring, but pretty good. And he's kept his opponent in the chair for quite
28.
a long time.
$29.
Well, that's gone slightly wrong, but I wanted that pink straight in the centre.
$35.
Yes, things get a little bit harder now. Of course, he's 28 in front. The red available in the middle, or and if he just rolls it in, he can play the pink in the opposite middle. Well, he seems to be queuing very low on it, so whether he's playing something different to the pink in the middle, I'm not too sure. A strange choice for Joe, that.
Joe Perry, 35.
I mean, he could have finished where he finished now, Terry, just by rolling it in.
That was a poor safety shot then from Zhang, and he's been making too many mistakes really, and he hasn't had enough table time to recover.
1.
Mentioned earlier on that in any sport, the less mistakes you make, the better. It's quite obvious. It takes the pressure away and puts pressure on your opponent, and that's what Joe Perry's done today.
Not looking happy, is he? No, I don't
Thank
see
you.
what's
Pink
going to
ball.
make him happy unless he can win these last 3 frames to get some sort of chance in the match.
Joe Perry, 1.
Another very, very clever safety shot. He was touching ball, so he just had to gauge the pace of the cue ball. No problem. Of course, he can't leave a red on this time, which makes a change. Every time he's been getting out of snookers before, he's been in a real tricky situation where even if he makes contact with the red, he was leaving a pot on, but he can't do that here.
So for the umpteenth time, he's faced here with a very difficult safety shot. It seems to be something that's happening in most frames. Well, that's okay, but he's 29 points behind. Joe Perry quite happy for a few reds to go on the side cushions. See again, he gets the perfect length on that to cover that red. It seems easy enough, really, but it's not, is it?
Well, he's played it 3 times, Terry, and played it to perfection every time. OK, Liang can have a go at this. Zhang can have a go at this red if he wants and take the cue ball into a similar position to what it is now. He'd obviously like to get onto baulk colour if he pots it, but at least he can play an aggressive shot here. Well done.
One.
Well, he's not perfect on the blue. You know, you just get the feeling he needs to get the right position when he pots a good red. He needs a little bit of run-in, perhaps, you know, and give him a nice, easy shot to pot and get position for the next red, because it doesn't look like there's one available here. Now he's taking
Yellow.
a much tougher pot on.
And he'll be bringing a red into play at the same time, so has to make sure of the yellow.
Zhang under 1.
The loneliest place in the world when you're playing badly.
Yeah, he's missed the yellow but got the kiss, and left a red on for Joe Perry. Got to have some sympathy for the lad. He's finding it hard out there.
1.
I don't think either of these reds pass into the corner. Quite sure if he's going to play the blue here and bring one of the reds into play, or at least play a cannon on it. Perhaps get on to the other red. Nicely played. How's your luck? Excellent.
Six.
A clever shot, that. Better get it dead right.
Yes, 34 points in front. So red colour red. And it'll increase the pain.
Seven.
Glance at the scoreboard tells him this is frame ball.
14. $15.
And now he could play a little exhibition shots if he wants, or he'll just drop it in and play the double. Yeah, just drop it in to play the double. Or trying to.
Joe Perry, 15. And frame.
He's decided that's enough. I'm surprised he hasn't carried on this time. But it's a lonely place out there. He's lost all 7 frames this morning and trails 7-0.
Oh, and you start to feel for the youngster now because the body balance is not good, and we're now potentially looking at a whitewash situation. By the way, whitewashes, there's only been one in history made by our friend John Parrott. Actually, it was your first match back in defence, wasn't it?
Yeah, champion 91, come back 92, beat Eddie Charlton 10-0 first round. Everyone went, oh, he's going to win it again. I didn't.
OK, let's move on. Now, Ronnie O'Sullivan did ask you to tweet some pairs of comfy shoes that might be appropriate for him, and my goodness, you've certainly risen to the challenge. Thank you very much to Jamie Pollard, Kurt Gregory, Russell Smith and Noel B for these. I particularly like the bare feet ones with the laces. Those look great. The ones on the top right, well, it's going to give you a bit of teeth, isn't it? Get it? Never mind. And whoever sent in the bloomer ones clearly used their loaf.
Yeah.
Like them?
The only thing with them is once you've worn them once, you're not eating them, are you? Let's be honest.
No, that is true. Yeah, keep them coming, and we'll pass them on to Rocket. I'm sure he'll love it. Shall we get back to the game?
Thank you.
I think that makes sense, Hazel, to be honest.
Joe Perry to bet.
Yes, I'd like to see John Parrott in those shoes. That'd look lovely. Joe Perry breaking off. Can he complete the whitewash now? And that's the first time in this match he's broke off poorly. Maybe his concentration obviously has lapsed a little bit now because obviously he knows that the match is virtually won. But there's been lots of comebacks. Very unlike a top player to hit the blue. His safety's been superb in this match, Joe Perry. Nothing going right for this young man. Absolutely nothing.
One.
Couldn't get onto the black, so he played a little cannon on the black to push it to the right-hand side. Just got into the cue ball a little bit too much, hit it too thick on nothing. Well, mind you, is there a gap? There is a gap for the pink. Oh, that's the first bit of good luck he's had.
Seven. Eight.
This seems like a long time ago he got in first in this match with the balls open like this. What he wouldn't give here for a 60 or 70 break. He's well capable of doing it.
15.
As I mentioned earlier, Willie, when Joe Perry comes to the table and the balls are up and he looks as if he's having a practice session, and when Ander comes to the table, it looks as if it's the biggest match of his life. And that's not a match.
22.
Decided to take this red first because it opens both the reds that's nearest the rest into this pocket as well. But he's been playing the black at distance now. When I say at distance, I mean when you're 7-0 behind, you don't want to be playing anything
23.
difficult. I mean, obviously this is not difficult for a man in form. But he's got to negotiate the stun run through nicely. Play for choice of reds, either the one in the middle or the one just above the black. Now 3 reds, 3 colours puts him 50 in front. He's got to rely on one good kiss into the pack at some stage.
31.
And John Parrott will breathe a sigh of relief, being the only man I've ever to won a match 10-0. Not a great pack to go into, that's why he's playing the 2 reds to the right of the pink.
$38. $39.
Well, that's his highest break so far in this match. And perhaps a few more to come. Not sure if you got enough of an angle here to pot the black and go into the pack, so he may play for the single red in the middle. And he's just overdone that slightly, got a bit too much backspin on.
46.
So he'll be going down now. Don't think he can hold for the pink. He'll have to go down for the blue or the bar colours.
$47.
No, just about stopped. To give him an opportunity for a pot. Now then, off the green here, I don't think it's difficult for him to pot it and play off 2 cushions into the back of the pack. I think he's got the angle for that shot. Play with a touch of left hand side. Very well done.
$50.
The crowd would love to see him win in a frame, I'm sure. And he plays down in Romford with Judd Trump and Leanne Wembo, who he beat in the final qualifying round to get here this year.
$51.
Very good. He had a few problems early on with that type of shot. The
55.
Barker is down to the reds, but it's a much better effort.
He's got a chance now of beating, not only winning his first frame, but a chance of beating the high break he made against Stephen Hendry, which was 86 in the match way back in 2010. Obviously, it'd be more important for him just to win this frame. Just about finished. The only place on the black that makes it awkward. Any sort of angle that can easily get onto a red. Now he's faced with playing a difficult red in the middle. Absolutely straight.
And he could screw back with reverse side if you want to take the chance. Opted for the, well, 2 in the middle. You could have stunned through, or the one he's playing now into the left centre. We're almost willing him to do well here, will we, in this frame, and we,
absolutely.
We're not that biased, but
I'd love him to win a frame. To be honest, it's Soldy's trying to get beat convincingly.
64.
Very well done, young man. Very well done. And you can see him looking up into the crowd now.
71.
Almost a grin appeared there. No. Can he make a century, or at least beat the 86 he made in his last visit to the Crucible?
72.
I'm pleased the crowd have seen him play, because, of course, watching him play this morning, people here, we know that he can play. We've seen him in many matches. But people watching in the audience and watching him for the first time would be thinking, how on earth has he got here? But that's what happens, you know, sometimes you have
79.
nothing goes right for you. But at least they've seen here as a good player. Played a little flick on
80.
the red next to the pink there and missed that kiss. Oh, what a shame, no century, but a beautiful break of 80. And his crowd warmly appreciate the young man's talent there. And he's got a foothold in the match, albeit he's still a mile behind. He trails by 7 frames to 1.
It's a foothold, it is, and a welcome one, because obviously we've seen this fella and he's had to go through 3 very tough matches. Just looking at it, he beat Anthony Hamilton, Mark Joyce and Liang Wenbo, 3 very accomplished players to get here. So, as you well know, even personally speaking, John, he can play.
OK, Hazel, what are you trying to say?
Go on then.
He finished my career, actually. I was umming and ahhing about anyway. I played him in the final qualifier to get here one year. He beat me 10-6. And he kept rolling balls in off the bottom cushion, dead weight, 11-footers. Everyone hates those shots. And he kept rolling them in and making 70 off it. And I went, well done, young man, thank you very much. And I put my cue in the case and packed in. And he's a very accomplished player. And as Stephen knows, because the draw that year, he got you, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But I must admit, because I've not heard from him for a while the last couple of seasons, and I was surprised when I seen his name in the draw to come through 3 matches, especially the players you just mentioned he beat. So a good performance there.
He dropped off the tour, actually, and then he's come back through again. So he's had a rough time of it. He was only, 19 years of age when you played him. He's only 23 now. So he's had a bit of an up and down time in snooker, but I think everybody relieved that he's back in this. For how long, it remains to be seen.
Well, after winning his first frame, he's made a poor break off, so giving Joe Perry an early chance. This 9th frame, the last one of the first session. They finish off this evening.
1. Six. 7. 14.
Just the one remaining loose thread at the back of the pack here, and depends on what angle
15.
he gets on the blue, may go into them. Not perfect, so probably have to play for the loose thread, unless he wants to swing it around 2 cushions and come into the pack. Just playing for the loose one. I'd like to finish low on it so he can bring another couple of reds into play, and he has done.
20.
There you see the angle is perfect. The left, he'll be pushing that red next to it into open play.
21.
That's the art of break building. Make sure you get the right angle on balls so you can bring other balls into play. It's not all about getting on the half ball blue and smashing them to smithereens and hoping for the best to get on one.
28.
Oh, I don't know.
I'd much rather see a break
29.
like this, though, where you're playing the shots, you know, rather than just hitting them and hoping. I mean, this is perfect break building so far from Joe.
$36.
Years ago, they'd never split the pack like they do these days. Well, the balls wouldn't allow it. They were so
37.
heavy. They had to nudge one out at a time in these of Joe Davis, Fred Davis, John Pullman.
It was the cloth as well, Terry, wasn't it? The cloth was so much thicker.
I think the balls were the most restrictive. They're like cannonballs.
44.
I remember when there was a rumour going around the circuit that John Spencer had screwed back off the black in his spot into bark. It was the talk of the amateur game at the time. Nowadays, most people can do it.
Faced with a slightly difficult pot here in the middle. Played it nicely though.
45.
Nice angle on the blue. Just play the candle into the 2 red. The joint of the 2 reds to the right of the pink. Just if it hits them both at the same time, it'll open everything up. And if he hits it full ball, he'll still be pushing the 1 red over the corner, but he'd like to hit the joint. Well, that's okay. Didn't play it quite like that.
50.
He'll take it though. He's got a nice angle here to stun for the black in the same pocket.
51.
Oh, Joe all of a sudden has changed gear again, isn't it? The fact that he won the last frame has kicked him into gear. 2 previous frames, only breaks of 48 and 35 from Joe. 2 winning frames that was, but that break of 80 seems to think, well, I'll show you I can do it now again. Horrible session he's had. Comes back tonight though, clean sheet.
59.
If Joe can win 7 on the trot, why can't Jan?
Just like I say, a good friend of mine, D. Thomas, has been into hospital. He's secretary of the Welsh Billiards and Snooker Association. Just had a triple bypass operation.
66.
Hope you're well, Dean. You can buy me a coffee when I come home.
$67.
That's been a very good break this so far. Not at a century in this match as yet. I'm sure before the end of it we will have. Round of applause for the frame-winning shot. And now he can concentrate on the century. I mentioned earlier in commentary he's had 197 centuries in his career. It'd be nice. Looks like he's going to go on and win this match now, which means he's going to be playing the best of 25 in the next round. So 3 centuries needed to pass the 200 barrier. This time he's played the joint. You see that always brings reds into play. And with the joint, perfect.
78. 79.
This is the shot. He wasn't planning to hit the 2 reds. You see, he was hitting both of them at the same time.
$86.
It's been Hendry like this break, hasn't it?
87.
Once again he had a break of 94, he had a miss, he had a break of 80 odd there and missed. But the most important thing is going into the second session, leading by 8 frames to 1.
And that is the most emphatic scoreline at the halfway point in the first round so far. And Stephen, your impressions of Joe Perry? I know we've talked a lot about Zhang Anda there, but this has been a very professional performance from Joe.
Yeah, and I think he probably would have liked the draw when it came out. I know he looks very impressive. In the balls, he hits the ball lovely, Joe. His positional play is excellent in the balls. He obviously hasn't been put under the pressure that he'll be put under the next round. But still, you've got to do it. I mean, we've seen O'Sullivan yesterday, not put under the pressure, but he didn't really play that great. Joe Perry's looked pretty focused the whole way through.
He has indeed. And John, I think everybody, I talked about universal acclaim, it was really warmly welcomed, this first title in Thailand for Joe just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but he's been a very good player for a very long time, and he's probably just needed to get his head in front, and he's such a lovely lad around the circuit. Everybody likes him, and I think they were all delighted he got his first title. Might just be the kickstart for him as a player. I think if there's one thing you'd say about him, he may have lacked a little bit of confidence just to go and do that, and now he's finally done it. He'd probably think he deserves to be, on the table with anybody.
Stephen, he's playing the best snooker of his career at the age of 40. He really has turned things around. I think working with Neil Robertson, obviously, and practising with him a lot, seems to have given a huge amount of momentum.
Yeah, and I think over the last 2 or 3 years as well, he's getting more comfortable playing against the top players. I think perhaps going back 5, 6, 7 when he first came on, he didn't play his best snooker against the top players, sort of went in his shell a little bit. He looks very confident now, and whether he's a winner in these 2 weeks or not, I don't know, but he can certainly go far in a tournament.
He can indeed. All right, well, we'll see more from that match in a little while, but when we come back at 3 o'clock, we're going to focus on the live play between what is a rerun, in effect, of the 2000 Crucible final, an all-Welsh affair between Mark Williams and Matthew Stevens. Now, it was Mark who won that and went on to win a second title. Matthew lost and has lost one more Crucible final. But the significant thing is they have never met at the Crucible since.
Yeah, I didn't know the draw when it came out. He phoned me up and told me that we play each other, and he told me it's the first time we played there for 15 years.
Phoned him up straight away. I think it was more to see when I was playing, because I didn't know when I was playing. He said Tuesday night, and so in a way I was happy then.
Yeah, it's unbelievable we haven't played for that long, and probably goes to show how old we're starting to get, but you know, certainly good to be back. (13-7) behind, I think, and come back and won 18-16, I think it was.
Mark looked, you know, bit skinnier and bit better looking than he is now. But that didn't take much, I suppose. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's funny looking back.
It's a great win for me, and you know, great memories. But you know, it's like I said, it's nice to be back here again. Obviously, I'd rather, you know, draw anyone else than a draw, apart from the Welsh boys, because, you know, you don't want to play the Welsh boys. You know, you'd rather try and beat someone else.
We've always been close. Been brought up with Mark since, you know, the age of 10, 11. So, you know, it's going to be tough. But, you know, I've put that to the back of my mind now, and I've just got to go out there and do a job, and you know, that's what I'm here for.
Now, they played their opening session last night, and look at that. That is, I think, a rather surprising scoreline. I think we're all agreed. Matthew Stevens with a 5 frames advantage, 7-2 up. And John, you were commentating on that match with John Virgo last night. What was your impression of it?
Well, the first frame was very scrappy. Could have gone either way. Mark got it, and then you thought to yourself, there's a couple of frames after that. Matthew Stevens played really well, but Mark Williams had chances to win at the end of frames. He missed a couple of greens, blew off the spot, okay, out of the balk area, but you'd expect him to knock that one in. And he just basically didn't win those scrappy frames that usually he does, and that's why the scoreline is... Matthew hit the ball better than Mark last night, of that there's no doubt, but it could have been closer.
Could have been, and when you think about the kind of form that Mark Williams has brought to the Crucible, incredible last 2 months. He's been a world senior champion, he was runner-up to Joe Perry in that Players' Championship. He's been in semi-finals, quarter-finals. It's been a brilliant run to make sure of his qualification here.
Yeah, he's been so consistent. I even thought that he might actually have a good tournament here and go quite far, because, as John says, he's really good at just grinding out results. But it's surprised, I didn't see the match last night, but it surprises me that he's been losing scrappy frames. So yeah, it was a big surprise to me, 7-2. Although Matthew Stevens, well know, he's been a top player for a long time.
Can he turn it around, Marks?
I think he's going to need two things to happen in this match. Mark's going to have to play as well as he can play, and he's going to need help off Matthew not to play well.
OK, sounds very good. Now, don't forget that you're obviously going to be with us, the two of you, this afternoon when we come back, and indeed with you. We'll be returning in about an hour's time, because as usual this week, with the general election on the horizon, there's a whole series of daily politics specials. There is another one today between 2 and 3. So we'll be coming back at 3 o'clock as the Masters champion Shaun Murphy gets underway. And we'll also be seeing the rerun of the All Welsh 2000 final finishing. It will come to a conclusion between Mark Williams and Matthew Stevens. Remember, Matthew had a very, very healthy lead 15 years ago and was turned over. I wonder what kind of form Mark Williams will be in today. We'll see you again in about an hour's time. Bye for now.
This week, everyone's been loving Ted Loveday's cable knit jumper, almost as much as his quick-fire answers. What a final for University Challenge.
Erasmus and Thomas More